Then he goes over, and again, we fund all of this, but let's just watch and we'll show you this. Oh, I think
anybody who works in this space will, I think, acknowledge that in any information operation, it's not just lies. You take a grain of truth, and they will build a pearl of disinformation around it. When we're in this space, there isn't a simple binary true or false. There are all kinds of shades of meaning in between. Now, there are various different ways of modeling how you can identify the ways in which people are trying to twist the story. And
wait for it, this gets good.
Because it's short and because, frankly, I developed it, is the 4 Ds. Dismiss, distort, distract, and dismay. These are the 4 responses that we see time and again.
Not false. None of these are false.
Like us,
how can we get censored anyway?
Uncomfortable evidence.
All of you should have some of these cards on the table. If you don't, look on another table and steal one that's not being used, because these are going to help get our attention. We are going to go through a set of slides showing quotes from different organizations and individuals who are using certain rhetorical devices to make their argument. And so, if you go through all of them, at least one of these 4 will apply. Again, dismiss, distort, distract, dismay. Everyone say it with me. Dismiss,
Jesus Christ,
distort, distract, dismay. Excellent. You're welcome to scream, I call bullshit, too, if you're comfortable, but it's not.
This is all funded by U.S. taxpayers.
So, with that, let's play.
Witch hunt.
How can you censor the sitting president arguing that what he said is disinformation? How can you tell the tech platforms that that tweet is disinformation?
Thank you.
Get creative.
Well, obviously it can be any number of the Ds. You can say it's distorting what they're saying or distracting them from whatever the issue is saying. The issue isn't real. They're just after me because as they're witches and it's evil. I'm the injured party here. So it could be a whole lot of them. Trump's got a nice range when it comes to disinformation.
Does anyone have a number 1 pick that they would like to mention related to this one? They said dismiss.
Yes, dismiss.
Dismiss?
Dismiss. Yeah. Other voices?
How many of you think dismissed? Raise your card, please. I think we're on to something here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right that underneath that attempt there are he's twisting the story. He's accusing somebody else of the same thing, right? But the main thing is what he's saying is like, don't listen to them because it's a witch hunt. So that was our first one.
All right, number 2.
Getting topical here.
Pro-Brexit.
When you have an idea.
This is a Brexit ad saying we should be spending the money on our own national health system instead of funding the EU.
Distort.
Any other takers? Any suggestions?
Well, let's ask. How many of you think this one has distort involved?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's a lot. Any other?
They seem so happy to comply.
Wants to mention? We've got a big hand over here. Let's. Oh, were you just kept your hand up? Her hand goes back down. Are there any others, or are we just going to stick with that one? Yes, man, right here. Distract. Okay, so for those who couldn't hear, it's also distract because it's trying to focus attention on the NHS rather than the vote itself.
Yeah, so, okay.
One more example of...
So this goes on, but what you'll see is this is the exact political adversary group that the intelligence, diplomatic, and military structure is trying to stop. Donald Trump, Brexit in the UK. And, you know, if you ever wondered why is it that everyone got all on board and suddenly started doing this all together, they were literally having years of these consensus building. You want to get your career made if you're at the Poynter Institute or the International Fact-Checking Union, or if you're on the disinformation beat for the Washington Post or NPR or Le Monde in France or the Frankfurt Allgemeiner in Germany. You get your bona fides by going to these, and you get effectively accredited by the blob. And we're literally training people to find creative ways to mass flag. You can't even run a Brexit ad saying, hey, we should be spending $350 million on ourselves rather than the EU. That's disinformation. Not false. They're saying it's not false. there's any number of ways that we can use to put pressure on the tech platforms to call this disinformation. You're hosting disinformation simply because it's not the agenda item that we want here. And again, there's 7 CIA directors currently on the board of that organization. Those placards reading "I call bullshit" were paid for by us.
It's just wild.